Good morning, boys and girls, and happy Tuesday. Today we're going to get started with some fraction problems. So let's get started. Our first one that we're going to do is an addition problem. We're going to do 1 7/8 plus 4/8. So the first thing I need to see is if both numbers have a whole number, which they don't. So I'm going to keep that 1. So that's like saying 1 plus 0. It's 1. And then we're going to add our two fractions. So 7 plus 4 is 11, and I keep my denominator the same since they are both the same. So you should have 1 and 11/8 so far. Next we have to break these apart because this is an improper fraction. 1 whole using 8 is 8/8. And if I were to take 8/8 from 11/8, I would have 3/8. So I know that this is the same as 1 whole. 1 whole plus 1 whole is 2 wholes, and I still have 3/8. So your final answer should be 2 wholes and 3/8. All right, our next one is going to be a subtraction problem. We're going to do 3 2/4 minus 1 1/4. First, we're going to look at the whole numbers. So I can see 3 minus 1, and I would know that, but before I do that, I actually should look at my fractions to make sure that this fraction doesn't need to borrow from my whole number, which you'll see that in the next problem. But I can see that 2 could easily be subtracted from 1, so I don't have to worry about borrowing, so I can just do 3 minus 1, which is 2. And then 2/4 minus 1/4 is 1/4. Remember, I keep my denominator the same because they are already the same. So my final answer is 2 1/4. So I was saying before how we sometimes might have to borrow, so keep that in mind for this next problem. So we have 4 1/8 minus 7/8. So as you can see, 7/8 is bigger than 1/8, but I know as a collective number that 4 1/8 would be bigger because that's like having 4 whole candy bars and 1/8 of a candy bar, or this is just 7/8 of one candy bar. Doesn't even have one whole yet. So I know that this is a bigger number, but I'm still going to have to borrow so that I can easily subtract. So what you are going to do, or you should do, is break apart this 4. 1 less than 4 is 3. And 1 whole using 8 is 8/8. Now, you are going to add these two fractions. So 1/8 plus 8/8, which is 9/8. And I still have my 3. So this is the same thing. So 4 1/8 is the same as 3 9/8. This is the improper fraction of this number, but we had to make it like that so that we could easily subtract 7/8. Let me write it correctly so that we can see. So 3 9/8. Now I'm going to subtract 7/8. As you can see, it's a lot easier to subtract 9/8 from 7/8 than it was from 7/8 from 1/8. So now I can see that I no longer have to borrow, so I can just do 3 minus 0, which is 3, and 9/8 minus 7/8 is 2/8. This was something that we did right before we went on, our learning from home. So that might have been a review for some of you, but please let me know if you were having trouble, because we can work out more problems like that, or if you need extra help, I can contact you and we can go over more problems. The next one that we're going to do is a multiplication problem. We are going to do 6 times 3/5. So if you remember that when we are multiplying a whole number by a fraction, we actually have to make this whole number a fraction. The easiest way to do that is just by writing it over 1. So now I have 6 over 1. Now I'm going to multiply my top two numbers and my bottom two numbers. So I know that 6 times 3 is 18, and 1 times 5 is 5. So some of you might have this as your final answer, but remember this is an improper fraction. We have to make it a mixed number. So you could break it apart, but you would have to do that several times because this is going to be more than one whole. So what we could do is you could just do 18 divided by 5 and ask yourselves, how many times can 5 go into 18? Count by 5s, 5, 10, 15. I can't get any closer, so I know that it is 3 wholes. 3 times 5 is 15. If I subtract, I get 3. So I write my remainder as a numerator, and I keep my denominator the same. So I'll rewrite that bigger. So your final answer should be 3 3/5. All right, I have one more problem that I want to work with you. And then I'm going to give 2 bonus questions that are a little bit more challenging. And then if you do those, you can earn yourself an extra dojo on top of the dojo that you get just for doing your homework. So the next one is converting a fraction to a decimal. Some of you might remember doing this last week. So I have 9/10. The first thing that I have to do, I see there's no whole number in front, so I'm going to put my whole number as 0, and then I put my decimal. And I know that this place right here after the decimal point is the tenths. So I look and see what's right above it. It's 9/10. So I write it as 0.9. All right. So your 2 extra problems that you can work on are 6 2/5, 1 4/5, and 5 times 5 6. So these are the 2 extra problems that you can do on your own and send them to me or Miss Sweet, and we can give you extra dojos. Please make sure that you are sending your homework to us so that we can see what you're doing and we can give you credit. I'm not just saying credit for dojos, I'm saying credit for school. So a lot of you have had questions about how grading is going to work. If you still have questions, please let me know. But in order for you to get credit for this semester and the things that you're doing, you have to let your teachers know. So please make sure that you are sending a picture or a message on Dojo explaining that you're doing your work, or show a picture of your work. I look forward to working with you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.